This is the 2023 Avengers Quinjet. Releasing on January 1st for $100, I was lucky enough to actually find this set quite a bit early, and I'm super excited to show it to you guys today. And despite being the 2023 set that I was looking forward to most, this build actually had quite a few surprises for me, and not quite in the best way. So let's dive in and take a closer look at the ship and the minifigures as well, and you guys will be able to make a better decision if you're going to be picking up this set on January 1st. Here I've got the Quinjet completed and built, fully displayed with all 5 figures. And I know I'm mostly a ships and vehicles guy, but we'll quickly go over all these figures and then we'll dive into the Quinjet. So this set is actually based on the Avengers 2012 movie, so it's only fitting that we have all 6 original Avengers. Well, in this case, all 4 of the original Avengers. So yes, for some reason we're missing both Hawkeye and Hulk, but I do have a few guesses regarding both of them. For the Hulk, I'm guessing that he's just an absolutely massive big fig, and he would have no place in the set. He wouldn't even be able to interact with the Quinjet, being too big to fit inside. So if they did include a Hulk big fig, it would only open the door to complaints as to why you've included a Hulk, but there's no play features or any way for him to interact with the set. But for Hawkeye, I've got 2 ideas as to why he was left out. The first one being, for some unknown reason that we'll never find out as consumers, LEGO couldn't include the figure, and that's the best we're gonna get. But my second idea has a little bit more basis to it. So this year's Quinjet set is actually quite comparable to the Guardian ship released in 2021. Both are still technically playsets and not quite Master Builder Series or UCS scale, but they both also come with a display stand, and it's very clear that LEGO took a lot of care and effort into making sure that these were also displayable alongside being playable. And in that Guardian ship set, we had the lineup of heroes, which was also missing one with Drax, and then the bad guy figure in that set was just a simple nameless Chitauri, nobody big. Whereas in this Quinjet set, all 4 of the good guy minifigures are big name heroes, as is the bad guy minifigure with Loki. So my big theory that this is all culminating to is just that LEGO had to find a balance in between including as many heroes as they could, while also including the main big bad from the film. Maybe if they included a Chitauri figure instead of Loki as the enemy or bad guy figure in the set, we probably would have gotten another named hero, but my best guess is they just had to find some kind of balance in between these figures. As you guys have been seeing on screen already, each of these minifigures comes with their own iconic, unique equipment. Iron Man with those repulsor blasts that you can blast off as a little play feature. Black Widow has her stun batons, of course. Thor has his hammer Mjolnir. Captain America, of course, with the vibranium shield. And then Loki wielding that scepter from the first Avengers film. For the minifigures that we do get in this set, it's a very solid lineup, all with amazing printing and detail on them. My favorite one being Loki. I think the armor and the robes he wears in the first Avengers film are second to none, and I think it's well translated over onto LEGO. So a decently solid lineup of figures, but it doesn't quite hit the bullseye. Now we can move on to the Quinjet, and I gotta say, this set looks absolutely amazing. If you're a Marvel fan and you don't like studs showing on your sets, then this is the set for you, because almost the entire surface of this set is tiled up, with the majority of studs that are exposed being on these small little winglet pieces on the end here. I love that LEGO went for more of a tiled look and decided to hide as many studs as possible, because I think it makes the armor plating and the entire ship look very smooth and very sleek. And despite all the gray on the ship, the translucent light blue windscreens actually break it up and give you a nice little extra bit of color in here. And then as well, if you decide to go with the Avengers set of stickers, you'll get a little bit more light blue around the ship as well with those. And I do say the Avengers set of stickers because this set actually comes with 2 sticker sheets. Since this is based on the first Avengers film, and in that movie, the Avengers as a name brand or as a group aren't really a thing yet, so it does make sense to go with a S.H.I.E.L.D. branded Quinjet if you wanted to, but I decided to go with the Avengers stickers because a lot of these S.H.I.E.L.D. stickers just add more gray to this ship, and this ship without any stickers on it is just a big hunk of gray. It almost looks like it belongs in Star Wars, it has that much gray. This is the only picture I have of my set without any stickers on it, and I was going to leave it unstickered to show you guys both sticker sheets, but after seeing it under all the lights in my recording area, I decided it was way too plain and I needed to go with the Avengers set of stickers to get a little bit of extra color in there. But it's nice that LEGO does give you the option to swap out the stickers. The only annoying part is you don't get an extra set of pieces, so you would actually have to physically peel off the stickers and ruin their adhesive to change them out to another set. But the stickers that you do decide to pick will provide a great amount of detail on the otherwise plain tiling. With a big Avengers A on pretty much every angle you can find, we have them on the main wings here, these little side wings, these rear fins back here, on the roof, on the nose, on the side of the cockpit. You name it, there's probably an Avengers A on it. But those aren't the only stickers you get. You do get a few miscellaneous armor plating stickers, and then a few caution things to add onto these large air intakes here. Apart from the stickers on the exterior though, I gotta say, it's incredibly satisfying how all the angles and all the tiles come together just perfectly on this ship to all meet up and create those nice smooth edges that you actually see on the Quinjet. Other than the sticker detailing on the exterior, it's very obvious that LEGO went through great efforts to make sure that this ship looked great from all displayable angles. Especially up front on the cockpit here, I think LEGO did an amazing job making sure this is all rounded out the best they could. making good use of some clips to get this armor plating as flush as possible up against this cockpit piece here. Moving from the cockpit though, we get back into the main body of the ship that we were kind of taking a look at earlier with all that smooth tiling detail and the sticker detailing. But more specifically, on each wing you'll have one large Avengers A and then an extra little bit of armor plating, or two shield eagle icons here. And then on this little winglet here, you have two more little bits of armor plating with another Avengers A. And like I mentioned earlier, the majority of this ship is tiled up, so this is probably the largest concentration of studs that you'll see anywhere on this ship. Flipping over the Quinjet and getting a look at those large fan turbines on the bottom. A very simple build, using one large dish piece as the housing for the turbine, and then one light translucent blue piece in the middle for the turbine itself. And these are actually clipped on, and they're a little posable, so you can have them at different positions for different forms and modes of flight. And then heading into the middle of the ship, just like the wings, it's covered in plenty of stickers, with one large sticker right in the middle here above this secondary windscreen. And then moving towards those large rear engines, we have some sticker detailing in between the engines on the ship. And then both engines make use of some sticker detailing on these horizontally placed fins, and then some caution signs just in front of the large air intake on both engines. And while we're back here on the engines, we may as well take a closer look at them. And then making use of these little fin pieces up on their sides, lining up with this tile piece on top, makes for a really good air intake, and it actually looks like it goes pretty deep in there with those black pieces. But moving down from the large air intake, we have these smooth slope bricks here that move into both side fins, and then we have one horizontally placed fin with that sticker we saw earlier, and then one more fin up top with no sticker detailing, finally leading into these large cones with these printed rounded tiles to make up the engine exhaust. And I will say, I'm not a huge fan of how these Technic pins stick out the rear of the engines. I think the exhaust would look a little bit better if they went for a different connection method, and then instead had an orange stud to represent some actual thrust being generated. Luckily it's a small issue, and these Technic pins are gray just like the engines around them, so they kind of blend in, but it is a small little issue that I plan on fixing in my mod video. And up top, in between the two engines, we just have that sticker detailing we saw earlier and a variety of slope and smooth bricks to help smooth out this rear side leading into the back door. But we'll get into that back door later. We're not quite done with the exterior of this ship. And I've been saving the sides of the Quinjet for last because that's where the largest problem that this set has is housed. So one of the coolest things about this Quinjet is that it actually has landing gear that retracts into the ship. Up front we have some landing gear that folds down from underneath the cockpit, and then towards the rear of the craft we have some landing gear on either side. And this landing gear is great, both working as functional landing gear and giving you the ability to display your Quinjet in a form without the large display stand that it comes with. The downside to this landing gear is that when you have the rear landing gear deployed, you've given your Quinjet a window. Now I'm not sure why LEGO went this route and didn't figure out some way to cover that up on the inside so there's not a big gaping window going through the middle of the ship. Just looking at it now, as a modder, my brain is already firing with ways to fix it, and there's some relatively simple options that I'm very surprised LEGO didn't do. Now I will say it's very nice to have the landing gear being able to fold up and stay hidden for the most part with just this extra wheel sticking out. But at the cost of having this large window when the landing gear is down, I don't know. So while I do like the landing gear feature, I think this was something that was easily solvable. So that pretty much covers the entire exterior of the Quinjet. Let's go ahead and head inside, starting up with the cockpit. So here we are up front of the cockpit, which is actually made up of 3 separate windscreens with 2 on the side and 1 down the middle. The one down the middle being our way in, and it just hinges up no problem, giving us easy access to our cockpit with space for a pilot and a co-pilot. The cockpit area makes use of some more stickers for its controls and control panels. Up front, the pilot has a 1x2 cheese wedge with a sticker on there, and then the pilot and co-pilot can share the sticker detailing going down the sides on those 1x4 tiles. And then just behind the 2 pilots, we have this small little opening that'll lead us into the main interior section. And we've got 2 ways to access that section. The first one being lifting up on the secondary windscreen, and then it lifts up the entire middle roof of the ship. Or as well, you also have this back door, which will give you easy access to the rear of the craft. Heading into the interior space, you can see that it's actually rather generous with plenty of space for minifigures. We have 6 seats going down the middle for all the original 6 Avengers, and surprisingly, that's all there is. It's just the seats there by themselves. They're not offset by jumpers or having clips nearby for any equipment or anything. It's surprisingly plain. And not that I'm complaining too much, I believe the interior space works, but I do find it odd that LEGO just tossed the seats in there with nothing else. An interior space like this kind of brings me back to sets that were being released around the time of the Avengers 2012 movie. LEGO sets and standards were quite different, so the interior of some ships back then were quite basic with just the seat builds being in there just like this. So despite being a 2023 set and I would have liked more detail in there, it kind of brings me back to some older days in LEGO. But luckily that's not the only thing you get in the interior section, because closer towards that back door you guys can see some small equipment stands. And then heading around to the back side of the ship you guys can get a much better look at those. It's a little hard for me to get some light in there, so I hope it's visible enough for you guys, but on the left side here we just have a little tool and then some binoculars. And then on the right side, we have a walkie-talkie or a radio here and some handcuffs to arrest any prisoners. And through the back door, it gives you a really good hallway angle, seeing down the entire interior space of the Quinjet, even up to the cockpit up front here. Reattaching the top flap and bringing that down, that pretty much covers the entire interior section and the entire Quinjet as well. Before I actually go through with this outro, there's one more play feature on this set that I actually forgot about, and it has to do with the Iron Man figure. The instructions have you make this little extra build that you're able to place Iron Man on top of, and then you place this build on the underside of your wings, and it looks like Iron Man is getting a boost from the underside of the wings to fly into combat. And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this Quinjet build and this video. I had a lot of fun getting my hands on this set and building it as well and making this quick little review for you guys, but what I'm more excited about is the mods. I've already got a few ideas myself, but I'm sure after watching this video or once you guys get your hands on the set as well, you'll have your own ideas, so make sure you drop those in the comments down below. And make sure you're subscribed as well so you don't miss out on any 2023 set mods or alternate builds that we do. And other than that, I'll see you guys next time. Peace, fellas.